Welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshana.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say my name again.
No, I'm giving you space.
And Marnie.
Oh,
I actually say two words. You say with Shoshana. Oh, well, I guess you say with Shoshana, and
I also say
Marnie.
welcome to Scripts and Giggles.
You decided.
Yeah.
You decided.
I'm sorry. It ended up being this way because basically you clapped and I was like, so I have to do the intro.
Well, let's not do this in front of the friends.
You know.
Let's argue when we get home.
No, it's fine.
I think I might not be able to have oat milk.
Can you tell me why?
Right, so I used to have coffee every damn day.
Yeah.
When I would come into the office, it's my
Okay.
favourite ritual. Get coffee and a croissant.
Yeah.
I decided about a month ago, I'm not going to get coffee every day anymore.
Okay.
I actually just don't think I want to. Because caffeine, like sometimes, you know, I get my heart races, or if it doesn't race at the moment, when I go to bed, it'll be like, here's all the palpitations from earlier.
Oh my gosh. Also, do you think that you need coffee? Because some people have to
I'm
have
tired
coffee
all the time.
Oh, okay.
But do you know what? For not having it, I haven't even noticed the difference. It made no difference. I don't
That's
think
so
caffeine.
interesting.
I think all caffeine did was make me jittery.
Yeah.
It didn't actually keep me up.
That's so interesting.
So today, this is the first time in 2 weeks, maybe I've had coffee.
Yeah.
And this doesn't count. Every development meeting at work, we get free coffee.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously gonna have it because it's free. Anyway, today I had a coffee. Got a oat milk vanilla latte.
Okay.
Lovely. Iced.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Drank it. Had a stomachache all day.
Ooh. But are you sure that's not vanilla?
It could be anything. But one thing I would say, I have milk when I'm at home having breakfast, like regular milk, but with no lactose. I have a special
okay. Lactose free.
It's called Arla. Lactose-free milk. Honestly, sponsor us, Arla. I love your products.
So done.
I get Arla yogurt.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
I'm really looking for lactose-free
Cheese.
ice cream.
Ooh.
Like, you know when you go out, you'll get like lactose-free gelato.
Yeah, maybe they have that. Well, why don't you get frozen yogurt? Because isn't that made different from...
Yeah, but I like the creaminess of the gelato, which is basically the milk.
Yeah. So do you just want them to make it with lactose-free milk? There must be.
Yeah, there must be. I mean, if you're able to have Arla.
I love Arla.
Yeah.
Arla probably makes ice cream. Arla, if you make ice cream, let us know. Send us parcels in P.O. Box.
Here's up.
But that I have that.
Okay.
And I don't have stomach aches. And basically, I was getting stomach aches so often that I started taking medication for it.
Oh, wow.
And medication ran out last week, and nothing happened. I didn't have the stomach aches. So I was like, maybe I'm good. Yeah. Surprise, today. I've had the oat milk stomach ache. It's the oat milk, I think.
But there's no lactose in oat milk.
I think that my body is just like, why are you drinking milk in any form? Cut it out.
It's so interesting.
Cut it out. I think I can have cow's milk with no lactose. I don't think I can have oat milk.
But oat milk isn't got anything to do...
Maybe I'm allergic to oats, bro.
Oat milk isn't even milk, it's water. Are you... Do you think that you... Or do you have any other, like, allergies or intolerances to other celiac?
I checked this
gluten stuff
a while ago, and the doctor said no. But a friend of mine has done the pathogen test. And antigen, that's the word for pathogen. And turns out she's allergic to egg whites.
What?
Gluten. Basically, everything that she used to eat. Like, she used to have eggs every morning at work.
Yeah.
And she was like, I was having all these stomach problems. Took this test. Basically, everything in her diet she's allergic to.
Oh, that would frustrate me. Peas?
They're like the protein, pea protein or something like that. So she can't have that in anything.
So what's she eating?
Honey. So part of me wants to do that test. The part of me's like, no, because if I do that test and they tell me I'm allergic to my favourite things, I'm still going to eat them.
Yeah. My friend's lactose and lactose intolerant, and she risks it usually for not even a chocolate biscuit, for cakes, ice cream, pizza, I mean, the pizza is the one that always catches her. She's like, you know what?
Damn, pizza's the one. I had the same thing.
She knows that once she has this slice of pizza, tomorrow is a write-off. But she'll still risk it.
I'm literally the same. Pizza and me, we don't get along. It's too... Whatever it is that is a pizza, if I have too much of it, I'm ill.
It really depends.
I love pizza, though. Like, the concept of pizza, I love. So, I don't know.
When I'm on my time of the month... I don't know why I'm saying this on...
you have a period? How old are you?
I feel like my body reacts differently and I get more sensitive to different foods during those times, more than any time of the month.
I just think that, like, for such a long time, I had these stomach aches and I just assumed there was something wrong with me. Like, I'm not making enough stomach acids, whatever it is. And honestly, it's diet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Like, because if you think about it, before I had these stomach aches, I wasn't having oat milk because oat milk wasn't a thing. I was just having regular milk.
That's so interesting.
I just had regular milk all the time, but I was also having stomach aches. So I was like, oh, it must be the regular milk. Like, there's something about it that means I can't have it.
And usually, it wouldn't be the oat milk that's causing the problem.
No, exactly. Oat milk's supposed to be the good thing, but
maybe try almond milk next time and see if there's any change.
I don't like the taste of that shit.
No.
Although saying that, the first time I had oat milk, I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, it's not that great. I prefer almond milk or... Do you know what's really nice milk? Cashew milk. No, I don't like milk. I actually don't drink normal milk anymore. Unless it's in my foods. But cashew milk you could actually drink fresh, like neat. But you shouldn't, because it's actually so fattening, but it's so nice. Hazelnut milk is just like chocolate milk. What other milks are there? My brother went through a stint where he was just buying loads of like nut milks for the house, and that's what it allowed me to just taste all the different ones.
I might try an almond milk, but I don't know. It's like I've had either almond or oat, and it was just like I hated this entire
it's probably almond. That's what happens with when I first had almond milk. I just found it quite watery, and then all of a sudden it just starts to build.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Should we get into the bulk of the episode?
Before we do, I think we should do the preface. So for the month of July, we're going to be doing some minisodes.
Because it's the summer holidays and your girls are getting turned.
Yeah.
Your girls are outside shaking their ass in a thong in Dubai on a yacht.
I really wish it was on a yacht, but there'll definitely be some Dubai.
And there'll be some ass shaking. And there'll be some thongs.
Yeah. But because of that, we are going to be spending this month with each episode reviewing a show a week. That's pretty much it.
Like we would usually do.
Like we usually would, but we would.
None of that mincing about. We're getting to the crux of the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Cutting the pop culture news. Even though if there is something that's fun that happens, we will.
Should we pre-record some responses to the things that are happening?
Go on.
God, that's awful.
I know. What?
That's brilliant.
I know. She won.
And then the same thing was like, we need to hear more.
No, this is not right.
There you go.
So we pre-recorded that all for the month of July.
That our responses to whatever's going on.
We can imagine there's going to be a lot of nonsense throughout this month, and those are our responses to all of them already.
There is literally already I don't even know what's going on at Russia. I just feel like I keep getting things being like the situation in Russia, and I'm like, baby. But can someone explain it to me like I'm 12?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it.
Can someone tell me when it's going to be over? Because people killing, people dying, children dying.
Sorry, do the take again. I actually going to be straight face because I actually think that's very funny. And I
can't do it again. I can't do it. We're not laughing at that. We're just laughing about how it is. Yeah.
No, we're not laughing about people.
No,
people hurting, people dying.
It just flows so easily.
You practice what you
preach, but you turn the other cheek.
You can turn what is the Father,
help us. Send somebody from above. Jesus.
Because we've got me questioning. Where is the love? It's crazy that they came up with that first, and the next thing they did is My Heart. Like, you did that such a think, wow, they're going to come out with all this, like, conscious music.
Honestly.
Wrong. My heart. Or, let's get it started. They were taking... Pump it. They weren't taking life seriously.
Absolute joke. But also, they ruled the music game for most of the early 2000s.
Black Eyed Peas?
Oh my goodness.
Monkey Business? Unparalleled.
That was a great album.
Banger.
Honestly,
Don't fuck with my heart. I wonder if I take you home, would you still be in love, baby? In love, baby. Tell me that
was a great album.
Immediately take you back.
That really is. There was even like on TikTok, there's a couple of like accounts where they do like throwbacks where they do a second per week of the number one in the charts. And there was one year, I can't remember what year it was, but it was in the early 2000s. And literally every week was Black Eyed Peas. A different song. Or it was the same song, but every single week.
Meet me halfway.
That's not
right. But do you remember that period where every song from that I'm a B, every single song was yeah. Every single song was a Black Eyed Peas song. I said, how are they even making this many songs?
I don't know. Basically, they struck luck with that one album and just churned every single song out. I think they had loads of singles and then they made it into an album. My Humps was
iconic.
My Lovely Lady Lumps. Check it out.
I met a girl down in the disco. She said, hey, let's go. I could be your baby. You could be my mama. Let's take time up money. Mix my milk with my Cocoa Puffs. Milky cocoa. Mix my milk with my Cocoa Puffs. Milky ride.
I mean, that song, it was actually quite nasty.
That was a song for interracial dating. That entire band was about interracial dating, and I love that for them. They had two black guys.
I was gonna say two black guys, one guy, Asian guy, and white girl.
Latina.
Who went out with who? Wait, Fergie's Latina. Ancestry is English, Irish, Mexican, and Scottish. So she's a bit
Latina.
Yeah, but yeah.
I feel like she was pushing it
a little bit, yeah.
So that was the only one she.
But especially
when Gwen Stefani was also acting like she was Latina, she fully is not.
Absolutely not.
What a period to be alive.
I know.
Like, you couldn't explain that to the kids now.
No.
There was a period of time where Gwen Stefani was pretending she was Asian. Or at least appropriating Asian culture.
Yeah, she was. And she was saying that she was
She was appropriating Latino culture. And we all were just like, yeah, we loved it. We were like, if I was a rich girl.
Because she duetted with Eve, but that was it.
That's on Bops. Every single one of those Bops.
Yeah, Rich Girl. What was the other song that she did with Eve?
Let Me Blow Your Mind.
Yeah, that's...
It took a while to get here, but I'm gonna take my time. Don't put that bullshit in your ear and let me blow your mind.
That honestly, that is a classic. So, yeah,
absolutely. I'm sorry, when Gwen Stefani was in her bag, I want to say it was 2005. Hollaback Girl. Luxurious.
Bananas. Oh, that was Hollaback Girl.
Not even there was a separate song called Bananas.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Shit, it's bananas. But also, I think that was a swear word. So I was like, this is bananas.
Yes, the clean version is, is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. This is bananas.
Yeah, Hollaback Girl. Yeah, what was the ones... Anyway, she had a great song. Also, I also loved when she was in
working so hard every night and day, and now we get the paper.
I don't think I know that one. But the one where she was actually in the original band.
No doubt,
yeah.
Don't speak.
Don't speak.
She was in her scar days.
Yeah,
that's
I like
Don't
Speak.
That woman is the queen of appropriation.
Yeah,
no one else can appropriate. Only Gwen Stefani.
She made her money, and we accepted her.
We did.
But she was like with Pharrell, like she like collaborated with Pharrell on her album, I think.
He knocked it out of the park with that.
Pharrell has been knocking it out of the park all the parks. Did you see his fashion collection?
No, because
I thought it was good.
I personally think that I support the theory that Pharrell is a vampire and we need to vanquish him. He's been alive for too long. He is ageless. It's weird.
No, I think he's very talented.
I don't know how I feel about Pharrell is a snappy dresser.
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to get anybody to come in and be your creative director, you'd want to at least pick a person who cares about fashion. But there is something weird about like where we're going with all these fashion houses, like picking the most famous person to come in and it's a job. It's a job that people train for a really long time. Because like, the idea of you but he did do Bathing Ape.
He did, yeah.
So he's separate. He's different. He's in the same league as Kanye when it comes to
the fashion. Yeah, but also Virgil. He wasn't like a talent. Like he wasn't a.
But he was a fashion designer.
Yeah, he was a fashion designer. Yeah, that's what he did. Yeah.
So you becoming it's like you working in your career and then getting the best version of the job that you already have.
Yeah,
that's expected. You've always done this, you know.
That's true.
Whereas if you was like, you do what you do, you work in marketing, and the next thing I know, you're show running a series, I'm like, what the hell has happened here? I love you, but this is dark.
I'd be really surprised if that happened. The show would be
I'll be
fire.
like, what happened? I could see you show running a reality TV show.
So can I.
I can see that.
So can I.
I think I would show run EastEnders.
I'm so finished.
That would be full circle.
I'm so done.
Back to my roots. Soaps. No, I'm not from East London anyway.
No,
they need to make a South London soap. I'm tired of these East London people. They're boring as hell.
No, but South London soaps. I don't know. Just open your windows. Look outside.
Damn,
that's your
open
soap.
Your windows. I know you say that. Soap. You say that. What happened to us on the weekend? Okay, this is the last tangent before we get. What happened to us on the weekend?
Oh yeah. So
I forgot to.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We bumped into each other over the weekend.
And we kissed. Whenever we see each other in the street, we have to kiss each other.
No, we were in M&S.
We were in an M&S. In an undisclosed location.
In an undisclosed location, a very quiet M&S.
But it is in South London.
Yeah, South London, yeah.
Could be Brixton. Could not.
I mean, let's just say, when I was looking for ties...
She was looking for ties.
Yeah.
I was doing a shopping list.
Yeah.
I was there for get bread. I was there for get bread. I was there to get bread and ginger, but they didn't have any.
That ginger beer?
No, ginger.
Oh, that's so random in M&S. There's a market right next to it.
Oh, listen, we'll get into that anyway. Later. Anyway. I have an issue with the market, but we'll come to that later. Anyway.
So, as we're walking, as we're in the shop, again, we're in separate locations, so I didn't see
We did not know we were going to see each other, by the way. We're just two people on two different journeys.
Yeah. And auntie, not my auntie, an auntie started arguing with this Jamaican guy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hear what was being said. All I heard was her finger raising up to this guy, and I heard noise. And then I heard everyone stop and looked around where I was standing. Everyone had stopped and looked around. And the security guard was in the middle trying to break them up, because she was going up to his face going blah, 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 blah. And he was going back to her face going, I'm going to hit you. So, to me, it was ridiculous.
Should I tell you what my view was as I came in? Because I was outside, right?
Yeah.
I was outside walking towards the M&S, and I could see people inside were just standing around. And I could hear a conversation through the automatic doors, right? So I'm walking up and I'm like, what's going on? Then I hear... Yeah, you're crazy. This is from the man.
Okay, yeah.
I should have known you was crazy when you first walked in. That's why I assumed that what had happened was she barged past him. Because he was at the door.
Yeah.
And she was only slightly further in the store. And then she says, come and beat me. Which, at the time I started to think, at this point I'm now in the store, I was thinking, these African women really have no fear.
Bravery.
Come and beat me. I feel like the power of saying come and beat me is that the person will never do it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. If I say come and hit me then, you're too scared to do it.
Oh no, I've been tempted.
I'm trying to think about...
Not you.
Have you seen that clip of, what's her name, Black China and her mum?
No,
where her mum's like, if you keep talking to me like this, I'm going to rock your shit. And she turns around, she's like, so rock it. So rock it. I think about that scene with her mum all the time. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but that is the energy of okay, so hit me then. Well, suddenly the person's like, oh.
The Tokyo Tony hit her.
No, Tokyo Tony's... The fight escalated. They didn't actually fight. Security came and stood between them. She didn't move. Like, China was like, okay, so hit me then. Then security tried to pull her out. She started throwing stuff at her.
Oh, crap.
No, it was really unpleasant, actually.
I can't believe they got a show.
That's not what your mum should be doing.
No.
And you watch a scene like that and you're like, of course that person is the way that they are, because their mum is trying to physically fight them. That has never happened, nor will it ever happen in my life. No. I've never been in a situation where I see... One time, where I thought, oh, this person's parent is going to fight them.
I don't think I've ever...
And that house was ghetto.
Okay. No, I know there's been times when my mum has been very annoyed at me or my sister, but I don't think she will ever do that.
Don't get me wrong, my mum smacked me, but I mean, me and you are
squaring up. No.
Are you out of your mind?
I think it's like, if someone was going to have to break, it would be me. Like, there's no way.
I'm trying to even imagine a situation where I'd be like, we have to square.
Yeah, why are we having to square up? I'm not that mad. Like, I'm more likely to
square up.
I'm more likely to walk out my house angry and slam the door in your face than I am going to square up with you.
Yeah, it's not natural for, like, you really have to push me. Like, the last time I ever put hands on someone, I was so sleep deprived.
Yeah.
That at this point, I was like, we have to fight. I actually can't, my brain is incapable of thinking of another solution to this. I think we just have to fight.
Yeah.
And the fight helped. It helped. It really cemented the issue. Anger. I said, there's a problem here, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've never once hit you in my life. Like, we weren't like that. Yeah. And today I'm hitting you.
Yeah, no, the last time I've had to, like, throw a hand is, like, I was seeing red. Like, I just say I was, like, done. Like, all rationality was out of the window, if that was a word. It was done. Like, I was really... I'm actually going to fight you. I don't love you anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, I don't care
about you.
I don't care. Yeah. This has to stop.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Like, You've been pushing my buttons for far too long.
Yeah, it's gone too far.
And I mentally be thinking about fighting you, but now
it's gone too
it's done.
far.
I'm ready to do it for real.
It's actually crazy because I honestly, now, like, looking back on that, I've never felt like that since. No. So that must have been really bad. Yeah. Like, I really must have been going through it because it's never once been like that since. Well, but it needed to happen, I think, because I feel like the person at the time, it was my sister.
Yeah, mine was my sister too, so.
But, like, she really, I feel like she was also trying to test the boundaries about how far she could push. Yeah. And it was like, this is the boundary. Yeah. If you want to be squaring up every day of your life, keep pushing me.
Yeah. And you have to be like, you know what? I've shown you.
No, my dad had to pull us apart.
Yeah.
I really thought,
I can't believe that. Like,
one of us is going to die.
Oh.
One of us, as in, like, at the point where it started, I was like, I know you and I know me. And we're not going to stop.
Oh my gosh.
You have to pull us apart.
Yeah, I mean, my mum had to pull us apart. But it was so, like, it was very brief. In my head, it was brief because my mum got there very quickly. But it was brief because I realised as I was doing that, it's like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I need to stop.
No, I didn't think that. I was like, this is it now.
When it started, I was like, I'm ready. And then I realised, oh wait, I'm fighting this little girl.
I mean, afterwards...
And by the way, she's not little, but she'll always be my little sister. You know?
My sister is basically me, but like an inch shorter.
I was going to say.
So we are literally the exact same body type. There is literally nothing different between us other than, like, she is an inch or two an inch smaller than me. And at the time, you're right, it is crazy that my nan could even pull us apart.
I was gonna say, your nan doing
because that really speaks to how healthy she was at the time. Because when I tell you, we were scrapping. Or maybe it was that we deep down, obviously, we didn't want to fight each other. So when she came in, we was just like, okay. But I remember my sister was screaming, crying. Yeah. And I was screaming, crying. And we was just... like, oh god, we've never done that before.
But the people at the back of the podcast, Molly's arms
waving up. No, like, she was properly
punching.
Yeah,
did she connect?
So the fight started like this. She was going on like, I can do what I do, and I shoved her. She's like, you pushed me. Yeah, and I shoved her again. Yeah, and then we was just pushing each other at first. Then we was grabbing each other, pulling each other around the room. Then I was on the floor at one point, and she was like, closed fist, but not really a punch, hitting me in the head, and she's trying to, when I tell you, I was just sitting there. I was like, let her get her hits in.
What's this?
When I get up,
this is Muhammad Ali.
I'm charging. That's what's happening.
It's like Muhammad Ali technique.
My mum was like, stop, you're going to kill each other. I was like, no, let her finish.
Oh my god.
Hit me there.
Yeah.
It's mad. Like, it's mad. Anyway, we are on such a tangent. We were talking about M&S.
Oh yeah, these two people were squaring up.
They were squaring up.
African auntie squaring up, yeah.
Basically, we're on this tangent to say, come and beat me is mad.
Yeah. But what was the response? The other response.
Well, at first, the guy was like, I'm not going to beat you, you're crazy. The security guard was stood in between them. He wasn't touching either one, but he was stood in between them and he was like, leave it, whatever.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I've walked in there. I didn't even get a trolley, basket because they were stood in front of the basket arguing. So I said, do you know what, leave it. Anyway, I was only coming in to get 2 things.
Yeah.
I don't know how we didn't see each other. Anyway, I walked in there now. I've got to the woman. I've passed her. I've got to the fruit. This is helpful for people who don't know what M&S is.
Yeah. Because you can get close.
But they're shouting back and forth at each other. He's calling her crazy. She's like, come and beat me. If you said you were going to beat me, come and beat me. As I come round the corner to the fruit section, she says, yeah, come and beat me like you beat your wife at home.
No, I didn't hear this.
I tell you, the guy was at the door. Suddenly he's in the middle of the M&S. Because he's obviously starting to go towards her. The security guard's now stood in front of him. The security guard is Nigerian. If we come to this M&S, you would already know that.
Yeah.
He's blocked the guy. So now the guy's like, why are you touching me? Don't fucking touch me. She's no, you've pissed me off because why are you touching me? You don't need to barge me. First of all, he's a security guard. Is he supposed to let you fight a woman? Yeah. A middle-aged woman, by the way. This is a middle-aged man and a middle-aged woman. I'm not going to let anybody fight anybody. So I'm sitting in the way of them. Now the guy decides he's got beef with the security guard.
Oh, of course.
He's not mad at the woman anymore, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, at the point where she said, this is why you beat your wife, and the guy started on the security guard, I said, anyway. And I went about my shopping. Honestly, I just left them because I was like, why are we like this?
No, honestly, when I saw them arguing and I saw her square up to him, I just turned around and was like, well, I need South London. And I continued along my way. As I was leaving,
yes,
that's when I saw money. And I was like, huh?
Oh, but you missed the interaction that I saw. So I'd gone to the cash point.
Yeah.
I've put my whole card in the thing. I check my balance. Let's take money out. It says, sorry, we don't have no cash. Sorry, why is the cash machine on?
Yeah.
If you don't have no cash. It's a cash machine. Anyway, I sat at the cash machine. The woman is coming as if to leave the store. Before that, she even said, call the police.
Oh,
call the police, and the police come and beat me. I'm at the cash machine. They are this close to me. I'm like, so not me being front row seat at the drama. The woman walks past. She's like, call the police then, call the police. The guy says, I'm not fussed about you no more. You got him in trouble to the security guard. I'm going to get him to lose his job. I said, it's not that serious, babe.
It's not that deep.
It's not that serious. Anyway, they have their interaction. They go, I take my card out of the machine. I turn around to go to the door. I hear, money.
Yeah.
I turn around.
I full named you. That was actually
ridiculous. I was like, no, Shoshana. And you know what was very sweet? We just laughed.
We did. Because
I know when people see their friends in real life, they're like, hey, hug. We were just like, oh, not this.
I was like, 2 things. I was like, 1, I was coming back from a run at my family's house and I didn't bring my t-shirt, like a nice t-shirt to wear to go with my outfit. So I was like, oh, hopefully no one will see me with this raggedy top, which is over there.
Wow.
Raggedy top with his raggedy trousers. I was like, oh, hopefully no one sees me. I'm just going to just throw this outfit on. It looked a mess. But I was like, I'm only going to just pop by M&S, not to find the fashion connoisseur, Joan Rivers, in the spirit. No,
Fashion police.
Yeah, fashion police. No, I was surprised to see you, and that's why I laughed. When I saw you, I was like, did you just see what happened earlier? And you're like, yeah!
It was mad!
What?
I said goodbye to you.
Yeah.
And I walked up that street.
Yeah.
Back towards the market.
Yeah.
Why did I see the man again?
I'm so done. You see,
at that point, I listen every Saturday. I go to that place to do my chores.
Yeah.
And every Saturday, I'm like, oh, I live in a simulation.
Oh, yeah.
Because I will see people from my primary school, people from my church, people from my secondary school. People.
It's the day you don't want to see anyone.
Local.
Yeah. That's the definition of local.
Why am I opening my eyes outside? I've just blinked. I've seen everybody I know.
Yeah.
I feel like I've told you this, but maybe I haven't actually. Where I live, my neighbour is friends with my friend's boyfriend. And then at the end of my cul-de-sac, a girl that I went to school with, primary school with.
Yeah.
That's where her mum lives. So I'd be seeing her back and forth.
Oh, it's such a small world.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's small. You see, that's where, you know what? It's slightly different because we were born and raised in London. If you were born and raised in those villages where they're like, oh, I was born here, but I left. I jumped ship after university and I decided not to come back. But a lot of people decided to just stay in the village. But we can't do that because our villages are in London. So we end up staying in London.
Can't stand it.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, I'm slightly different.
It's the only thing I don't like. Like, I love where I live because, like I said, I grew up there.
Yeah.
I honestly love it. I'm so glad to be from here. But I can't even go to my fucking local M&S without seeing my old school teacher and her mum and her dad and the next. A woman from my church is going to say to my grandma, I see your granddaughter walking outside.
Yeah.
Belly top? Question mark?
I'm so done.
Then I get home and I was like, why are you wearing... Excuse me?
Oh my... That's
I'm a big girl.
So when I moved out and I was like, oh, I was kind of like, oh, I'm not too sure if I'm moving too far out. Mind you, I'm only 30 minutes away from where I grew up. But I was like, oh, am I too far out? Am I too far out? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine where I am to be a little bit further away from like where I grew up because I don't see my locals. I don't see everyone everywhere. Even where I lived before, I wasn't like where everyone from my primary school lived. We always lived a little bit further away, and it's fine.
When I was at uni, my biggest fear would be that I'd be the person I am now, which is local. Like, I went to uni, I was like, and I'm going to New York City, and I'm going to make my way at American look. And here I am, back in the hood, living hood life.
You know, like...
I live 10 minutes away from where I lived my entire life.
Hood adjacent.
I live on an estate still, apparently.
No, you don't.
Apparently. Sometimes I get posted, it says, blah, blah, estate. And I said, huh? Excuse me, I own my property.
Yeah.
I'm not like one of you hood reds.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I literally, if you walk 10 minutes away from my house, you're on the estate that I grew up on.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
It's such a small world.
It's a small world.
And honestly, I like that.
I
know the travel route to and from my house.
That's the only good thing because
I know how to get to my house.
There's sometimes when I'm walking around, I'm like, I'm gonna be lost. Yeah. Or like, because all my family still live in a certain area, I just end up going there every week because my family is there. So it's like there's pros and cons.
There's only one other place I would live that I'm like, confident I would live there.
Go on.
Edinburgh.
For real?
Yeah. It just fits my... Have you been to Edinburgh?
I've been. I found it quite dry.
I thought it was just like very... Well, I went there in the summer last year and it was like... And I went during...
Edinburgh Fringe, yeah.
Yeah, during Fringe, and it was just like very lively, but like it was sunny, and I was like, there's something about this town that's kind of spooky.
Yeah.
As well, it's got Castle on the Hill.
Yeah.
It was a full moon.
Yeah.
There was some sort of festival happening because there was like fireworks on the first night. And I remember I stood outside the hotel looking at the fireworks, and this group was stood there too, and they turned to me and they're like, do you know what the fireworks were for? And I was like, no. And we all didn't know what was going on. And I was like, I like it here.
The thing is, when I went to Edinburgh, I went to Glasgow because
it's quite hilly as well.
Yeah, it's really hilly.
I love that.
When we went to Lisbon, we didn't like it.
No, it's different. Lisbon was different. Yeah. Lisbon was different.
But also,
Lisbon was just up, down, down. In Edinburgh, like if you go up, you're up, and if you come down, you're down. Yeah. That's it. It's not 50 million fucking hills.
When I went to Edinburgh, I went to Glasgow as well because a friend of mine lived there, and I'm telling you, I preferred Glasgow more. I don't know what it was. It was the vibe.
I didn't see any hot boys.
No, there was no hot boys there.
So if I move to Edinburgh, I'm moving to Edinburgh with my hot boy. Because
I think you have to.
Didn't see any hot boy.
But that being said, I don't really go... It's very rare that I've been on holiday. I'm like, hot guys. I'm like...
I saw a really hot guy on the train today.
Really?
I feel like I always see hot guys on the train. And I'm like, what do we do? Just...
smile and hope you get
today I saw a guy
you get written on the metro. What was it?
I don't even read those anymore. Today when I say I saw a guy that was so hot, I was like,
would you go up to him?
Out of my league.
Would you go up to him and be like, hey?
No.
No.
First of all, I was getting off the train, he was getting on.
Yeah, that's the end.
And as the train was pulling up, I said, who is that? Then the door stopped right near him, and I was like, I'm going to run past him. And then when I was getting off the train, I just stared at him, and he didn't even make he was just like, I'm getting on the train.
No.
I said, this man is beyond attractive. Like, you should be on TV.
Can I have a comparison? Who does he look like?
Kit Harington. But with longer hair. He wasn't very tall, I will say that. But I like a pretty boy like that, if I'm going to be honest.
Do you like short men?
Not short men, I like a pretty boy. I'm not like you being like, are you 6'4"?
I'm not. I don't have a height limit. I don't have a height limit. But preference, I do have.
Listen, we've got to get into this because...
Yeah, let's get to this review. Actually, that being said, in the review, Josh Hartnett is hot. But anyway, let's get to...
Damn! Josh Hartnett is not hot to me,
No, he was hot. Okay, there was in the trailer, this shot where he's
like, a big boy, though. He's tall. I like that.
Hello!
That's all I liked about him. Yeah. He wasn't hot. He was just tall. So, that's the problem. Sometimes you see a boy, you're like, he's hot, and then you really look at him and you go, he's just tall.
Because he's tall when you put him next to Aaron Paul.
He's just tall, he's not hot.
Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna...
Stack all those tall boys next to each other, you're not looking at him twice.
Yeah.
You're not...
Anyway, we're going to have to get onto this review because it's been a long time coming. And as part of our series of minisodes for the month of July, we are starting off with the one and the only... Black Mirror Series 6.
The blackest mirror of all. Not to be confused with the show White Mirror.
Yeah.
Which we are currently trying to shop around.
What would White Mirror be about?
White Mirror is about I feel like it's a fantasy series where somebody buys a white mirror from like a flea market, but it's also a portal into another world in which they are, in fact, a queen.
So it's like basically the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
No, it's an African folklore thing. We're going to twist it up and make it African folklore.
Can we make it at least South African so there's white people in it?
No, there's white people in it. It's a black woman who's bought this white mirror. You actually have a white mirror here.
I do. I have many white mirrors in here.
And she stares at the white... She's like... She puts a white mirror up and she starts hearing this like humming sound. And she's like, what is that? And she gets sucked into the white mirror. And when she gets there, they're like... My lord, it's time to free the slaves. And you're expecting it to be like, oh no, it's old-timey slave stories. But when she gets down there, all the slaves are white.
Okay, so on that note, well, that's giving me now Noughts and Crosses.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's a switch up.
It's a real throwback.
It's a switch up.
It's a real throwback. All right, let's just get into it. It's Black Mirror Series 6.
Wow. Hearing you say Series 6 is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Black Mirror is one of my favourite shows in terms of, like, the prospect of a series being commissioned.
Really?
Like, I have listened to Charlie Brooker talk about the show.
Yeah.
And I watched it when it was on Channel 4.
Oh, wow. So you watched the originals, okay.
And it's a series, to me, that, like... If I'm correct in my history, it was commissioned by Comedy.
In Netflix?
At Channel 4.
Oh, and also at Netflix.
It was commissioned by Comedy.
Yeah.
And if you watch the first 3 episodes of the series, they're not funny.
Really?
They're not funny.
They're more like social commentary.
Yeah. The first time I watched it, I did not think it was funny at all, but I rewatched it recently, actually.
Yeah.
In anticipation for the season, I was like, I'm trying to rewatch it all. I did not complete that mission.
Yeah.
But I watched the first and second series, and I was actually shocked by watching the first episode now. I thought it was actually just a really good piece of TV in terms of, like, it's satire. Or at the time it was satire. It turned out to be true. Our Prime Minister, David Cameron, at the time, may or may not have fucked a pig while he was at...
Flipping, oh my god.
Yeah, remember?
Yeah.
But this was before that had come out.
Yeah.
So the premise of the very first episode of Black Mirror is the Prime Minister is informed that someone's been kidnapped.
Yeah.
I think someone like Princess Eugenie, like a royal, but like not the most prominent royal.
Yeah.
And in order to set her free, he has to have sex with a pig. And obviously everyone's like, we're not going to do that. So there are people trying to work on doing a deep fake of this. There are people trying to just find the location of the person who's asked them to do it. All of this stuff. But as the episode goes on, we start to realise that, like, they're running out of options. He's going to have to fuck this pig. In the end, he fucks this pig. And not only does he fuck a pig, it has to be broadcast to the nation.
How the hell did they film that? I bet it was just like...
Oh, you don't see that?
Thank God.
You hear the pig squealing, though.
Oh my God.
Which is honestly bad enough.
Yeah.
Rory Kinnear plays the Prime Minister. I don't know if you know who Rory Kinnear is, but he plays Hamlet
I love him.
The National at one point, and he's in a great show called Southcliffe, which is not on Channel 4 anymore.
He's American, right?
He's not. He's from here.
Oops.
You're thinking of Greg Kinnear.
Yes. I was like, I love him. It's great.
Rory Kinnear's from here.
Yeah.
And he was in one of the first ever stage shows I went to see. So and he lives in Kennington. So it's a special place in your heart.
Yeah.
I once saw him pushing a baby down the street and I was like, locals.
Yeah.
And it obviously ends with him fucking this pig. It's awful. Yeah. He cries. He throws up afterwards. And then the guy who had asked him to do that kills himself.
Oh
and he'd already freed the princess.
Oh
so
my
it turns out he fucked the pig for no reason. But the whole point is like, really how far are you willing to go to? Yeah. It's really dark. But like watching it now, I know what happened. Yeah. I was able to be like, oh, this is actually quite funny. Yeah. But when I first watched it, I was like, this is horrible. I don't like this.
Yeah.
The second episode is 3 million. No, is it 3 million? No, it's a complete history of you. That's the name of the title.
Okay. You really watched it.
Like I said, it's one of my favourites, and it's about a future where everybody has these chips where they can access their memories.
That's it. Yeah.
And it ends up being a story about this couple where this guy goes to a dinner with his wife and it becomes convinced that she has fucked one of the people at the dinner. And obviously becomes really obsessive with the idea and is rewinding the memories. Oh, you can play your memories to other people as well.
Okay, it's giving me In Time, the Justin Timberlake's room.
So at the dinner, he's had this like career review thing. We call them catch-ups at my workplace. But basically, it's been a year, let's talk about your... Yeah. And he says, it didn't go well. And everyone's like, put it up on the screen so we can see it.
Oh, crap.
So he plays it to the group.
Oh, is that when he's like, there's a scene that I remember seeing that the guy was like, can you rewind your memories?
Yeah. It's like a clicker, you can go back and forth and all that stuff. And in the end, he basically destroys his entire life in terms of like, it ruins his marriage because he becomes just fixated that his wife is sleeping with this guy, so he asks to see her memories. Go back to this day when I wasn't here, I want to see who you were with. Yeah. Finds out that she had in fact slept with this guy.
Oh, wow.
But it was around the time that their son was conceived. So now it's like, is my son even mine?
Yeah.
And he sort of ends up in this sort of hell where he just keeps replaying. Yeah. She leaves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the relationship has been unraveled, he leaves. And he just keeps rewinding all the good times they've had. It's just such a great episode. No. And I feel like that is what, to me, that's what Black Mirror has come to symbolise, which is tech. In and of itself, fine.
Yeah.
People, bad.
Yeah.
And if you are a person with bad intentions, tech is bad.
Yeah.
Tech in and of itself is not moral in any way. It's just a piece of information.
But when you have the people that are controlling it and using it, it's bad. Because actually I was introduced to Black Mirror a lot later, and that was when it was on Netflix. And I heard a lot about different episodes. Definitely episodes that I would be more inclined to watch are the things like the dating episodes, the ratings episodes, similar to like the Uber rating, where you have to like give 5 stars. I told you,
I know the episode.
Yeah, you know the episode names. It's my favourite show. And I remember watching it, I was just like, really gripped. I don't think I've watched Nosedive
more than once.
No, yeah, it was really gripping. And then there was the other one, which I think I remember really clearly, was the
deaf one.
No, the partners who they could discover how long they would be together, and they can choose to see. Again? They can choose to see how long they can be together.
It'll come back to me.
Yeah.
But it's in the same season as San Junipero, but it's not that one.
Yeah. And that was... I remember that one really vividly. And I thought it was a great episode. And again, it's a lot...
They keep going on dates, and then you realise like these are matches being made.
Yeah.
Within a dating app. Yeah. So none of this has happened. It's like the algorithm, they're playing out what the algorithm is doing in that moment in time, trying to imagine how these two people would meet and whether they'd be a good match.
I think I only really was more interested in like the romantic dating ones, and also the ratings one, but I think it's because it felt so, it's one of those things where it felt similar to real life that it could happen, but also it had a twist about it where you knew it was fiction. However, we are living in a world where a lot of the stuff that has been talked about in Black Mirror has been predicted, and we now use Black Mirror like almost like a noun or a verb of, is this Black Mirror? And that's one of the things I loved about Black Mirror, is that it's, people now say, like, I feel like I'm in Black Mirror. But then the pandemic happened, and flipping heck, that was Black Mirror. So
yeah, and Charlie Brooker actively said, I don't think it's a good idea for us to have Black Mirror right now because we're living in it.
I agree. And it's bleak. It has been bleak, and it therefore has been 4 years since
Series 5.
Series 5.
You can count.
I'm actually going to stop you right now. And I think we needed the break because we were actually living in a Black Mirror scenario. Literally, COVID-19 could have been a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
Legit.
Have they not? I mean, Black Mirror has foretold a lot of things that have happened for real.
It's like The Simpsons.
It's
Black Mirror and Simpsons are the thing that foretold this future.
So, yeah, no one would have been surprised. I feel like probably people heard about COVID and were like, this is a spoof.
Honestly.
This can't be real.
Honestly, I can imagine an episode being called Black Mirror, COVID-19.
I think everyone, so, a bit of a tangent, but I was in a thing at work that was about mental health. And they were like, oh, you know, we are collectively experiencing a trauma response to COVID, and this is where we're at in our journey. And they mapped out the journey. And they said we were at the point where I can't remember what it was called now. It's really annoying. I should take a picture of it, but I found it really interesting because I was like, it's interesting that you think that we're all collectively on the exact same stage, because I feel like where she said we were at, I was not there yet.
Yeah. Oh, not there yet.
I'm not, honest, when I think about it, I'm always like, I'm fine since COVID. But do you know what's really suffered for me? Travelling.
Yeah.
I feel way more anxious travelling than I ever have now. Yeah. And it's not even like I'm afraid that I'm going to get COVID. I'm afraid I'm going to get stuck. But I'm just afraid of being somewhere and then something happens and I'm stuck there. That's my fear. And it's crazy. I hadn't even thought about it until I went on holiday this year.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't been to the airport since COVID.
Oh, at that point.
And you know why? Honestly, my theory is that I see all these YouTube videos and TikToks where people are like, I had to go to the airport for 12 hours before my flight. It just stresses me out so much. Traveling is stressful as it is.
Yeah.
But the idea that you got there early thinking, oh, I'm going to be good. And actually, there are all these delays, so you're not going to get there. And your luggage is going to get lost. And this and that and the other. I was like, I'd rather only ever travel places by train right now. That's where I'm at right now. And I'm travelling by train and I feel good and fine about that. But I still haven't been to the airport.
For real?
I haven't been to the airport.
It's interesting, I think.
It feels like it's quite down now, but there was just a period of time where every other TikTok I was seeing was, here's the view of us at the airport and we've been here for 8 years and they lost our luggage and they punched my mum in the face and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, I travelled during COVID at time.
You're a super spreader. No.
I travelled during COVID and there were times when, these were for legit reasons, and there were times when, yes, there was a lot of anxiety. There was always the fear that something could happen or your test may not, you may not pass your test. What that had happened to my sister when she had to take a test before a flight and the COVID results came out as inconclusive, and that scared us because we were like, we have to fly in 7 hours time. And so she had to take an emergency test and it came out as negative because of course she was negative, but it just was very anxiety driven. And it took a while and a long time for me to feel calm at an airport. But I think for me, what I felt after COVID was being in tight spaces and being in places that were super crowded, especially when there's people that like coughing and not being the most hygienic. That's when I felt I just don't like being in this type of environment. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, have I been in places where it's tight spaces with loads of people around? Yes, but do I enjoy it as much? No, and I don't think I go out as much. And I do think that COVID has taken an element of my social life and over the last
we lost 2 years.
We did,
and that's actually what make the diagram I was looking at. That was what it was like. It's almost like we're on the same grief journey you'd be in if a family member, if someone had died. We're mourning, we're at loss, we're at denial, we're acceptance. All of these stages. I just found it really interesting because I don't think anyone I know has said I found the pandemic really hard.
I don't think
no one says it.
No one says it, but I think there's small things and small signs to be then that impacted me for the last 2-3 years. That was a low point in my life. Yeah,
I would be curious to know who I would be if the pandemic hadn't happened. But You know, it came at a very pivotal 2 years for us, I think, as well. Like, if I was going from 24 to 25, it would have been nothing. But, like, to go from, like, your late 20s to 30, being 30 it feels like a shame.
Yeah, I do feel like there's so many opportunities that could have happened. But that being said, there's so many opportunities that happened afterwards that I have to be grateful for.
But that being said,
yes,
Charlie Brooker decided the world's too dark right now. I'm going to take a break, and has come back finally with the 6th season of Black Mirror. The first episode.
Yeah, there's 5 episodes. The first episode is called Joan is Awful.
The way they decide how many episodes to have a season it feels random to me.
Oh wait, pretty much. It feels like it is, yeah.
But one thing we should say before we start, I think an issue, because I think a lot of people had an issue with Joan is Awful and the season.
That's
This is not issues that I've had, but issues I've had in the past, which is like, when Netflix picked up Black Mirror, it was a predominantly British show because it was made for Channel 4, right?
Yes.
And when it got picked up by Netflix, I think a lot of the UK audience was startled. I'm going to say startled. By the sudden American presence.
Yeah.
And Americans, what felt like a suddenly American skew. Like, you know, we've probably got some international listeners listening to this right now. And I don't know if you consume a lot of American content and a lot of British content, but they're very different.
Yeah.
And, you know, in terms of scale, should we say.
Yeah.
America's shows tend to be like massive.
Yeah.
And ours are a lot smaller. And therefore we have certain jokes, we have certain people we would cast. Like, it's a very different process. And I think what people... Like, I don't know if Black Mirror was a cult hit from the beginning, because I don't think Channel 4 would have let it go if it was.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was, yeah.
It broke a lot of new talent.
Yeah.
Or it broke a lot of talent that wasn't, like, massive.
Yeah.
So when it got picked up by Netflix and suddenly you got Bryce Dallas Howard. There we go. Bryce Dallas Howard in the first episode.
Who did he play? The guy...
You've got Bryce Dallas Howard and you've got Anthony Mackie and...
Oh yeah, him. Miley Cyrus.
Yaya.
DaCosta? No,
Yaya. What's it? I can't remember what his surname is. Yaya. That's going to bother me. Yaya Abdul-Mateen II. Yaya I love. He was in... The Watchmen. He's gorgeous as well. Yeah, we'll come back to that. But you have like Anthony Mackie, who is from the Marvel universe. You have Yaya, you have who is on Watchmen for HBO. Like, people that are recognisable.
Yeah.
In a way that like the UK version of Black Mirror did not have.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot of people sort of were like, I don't like this. It's lost its charm. It's lost its spirit. And coming into this season, I noticed the same... I remember I saw a tweet where someone was like, I miss the old Black Mirror where they cast a bunch of unknowns. I was like, well, they never cast a bunch of unknowns. Like, Daniel Kaluuya in the first season had come off skins. Was in the first season. But he had come off skins. So he wasn't a unknown. He was just not a famous.
No.
He is now iconic.
Oh, yeah, true.
But they didn't know that when they cast him.
Yeah.
And it feels like people expect Black Mirror to cast like the next big thing. That's not the point of this show at all. They cast people. But so I think some people had some issues with the casting in that sense. Like, they were expecting nobodies. And obviously in the first episode we've got Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
So shall we talk about Joan is Awful?
Yeah, let's do that. Oh yeah, I did see messages around like make Black Mirror British again, which
cheap again.
Yeah, which
That's
which was giving me real it was giving me
xenophobia.
Yeah, no, it was giving me Trump messages. But yeah, one thing about Joan is Awful is it's definitely taken a real Mickey out of Netflix.
Yeah. Streamberry.
Streamberry, absolutely genius. And it was one of my favourites in terms of the strongest episodes for the series because it felt like it had a real like clear narrative.
Yeah.
And it really hooked me in from the beginning. Joan is Awful is about
a woman
called
played
Joan
by
Annie Murphy.
Known
for Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. Who has quite a bad day. She goes to work. She has to fire her assistant.
Yeah.
She gets a text from an ex. She meets up for drinks with him. You know, it's clear that he's sort of messaged her because he's desperate, or because he thinks she's easy and she'll come back to him. And she goes back to her partner, who she's engaged to. And they sit down to watch TV, and she sees that there's a show called Joan is Awful.
Joan is Awful, yeah.
And they click on it, and it's exactly like the day she's had.
Yeah.
Only she is played by Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
And everybody else is played by people who actually look like them.
Yeah.
So the first joke is that Salma Hayek can play Annie Murphy in any universe.
Yeah.
Here we are.
That's true.
So they watch this episode, and previously she told her partner, "Oh, my ex texted me, but I didn't meet him."
Yeah.
But obviously the show has shown that she did in fact meet him.
Yeah.
So her partner gets in the car and leaves her.
Yeah.
This what makes it into the show as well.
Yeah.
And she's just like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, this is crazy." I like parents are calling her, being like, "You suck." Like,
yeah.
it's crazy. Let's say she meets with a lawyer, and the lawyer is like, "Yeah, when you signed the terms and conditions to Streambury, you agreed to let them use your likeness in a show. Yeah. So there is literally nothing we can do."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, across the pond, Salma Hayek is like, no, we don't get Salma Hayek anymore. Yeah. Joan decides she's like, "Oh, apparently legally there's nothing I can do, but maybe I can get Salma Hayek's attention if I just do the grossest shit I can think of in an episode."
Yeah.
So she dresses up as a cheerleader, eats a bunch of burritos or something gross, goes to church, and then shits all over the floor. And at this point, she does get Salma Hayek's attention, because Salma Hayek is like, "What the hell? Like, there's a show where I do this, but it's not Salma Hayek. It's a deep fake of Salma Hayek." And her agent's basically like, "You signed a deal with Streambury, so there's nothing you can do about that." Yeah. And so Salma Hayek reaches out to Joan, and they decide that they need to work together if they're going to bring Streambury down. Yeah. So they go to Streambury, and they realise that Streambury's basically got this like massive computer that like is going to churn out a version of Joan is Awful for every single person who subscribes to the app. So
it's not just Joan is Awful, it's like Tom is awful.
Yeah.
Ben is awful.
And they had tried a version where it was like Joan is awesome. Yeah. And it just didn't engage people enough. So they've gone for awful. And they're going to do like you said, Tom is awful, Greg is awful, Craig is awful, Jill is awful. Yeah. Everybody's going to find a version of themselves in a Streambury show. Yeah. They decide they're going to destroy this quantum computer that's like somewhere between AI and like being controlled by Michael Cera, who's playing a character. Yeah. And they smash up the computer, and what we realise is they're in a show. Yeah. And in the true version of the show, Annie Murphy plays the Salma Hayek version of Joan, and Joan is a regular person. Yeah. So they smash up the computer, and we meet Joan, the regular person, who's played by an actress who I didn't recognise, which I thought was very clever. Yeah. I was like, maybe this is a real person that they got. Yeah. And then Annie Murphy plays Joan with quotation marks, who's in fact Salma Hayek, who's about this person anyway. Yeah. Here we are. So we get the impression that they got out of the algorithm. Yeah. And they now just like, Joan runs a coffee shop or works at a coffee shop, and Annie Murphy comes in for a drink at the end, and it seems like you got exactly what you wanted, but did they?
That's the question, did they? Did you see there's a little Easter egg right at the end?
There was an Easter egg right at the end.
Yeah, end of the credits, which was just basically the regular Joan doing the shit in the church. Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah. So, what would you give Joan is Awful out of 5?
Because I'm bracing
each episode's like its own thing.
Yeah, so it's its own little show, isn't it? Joan is Awful for me. I'm going to rate it against the other shows. To me, it was one of my favourite.
What other shows?
The other episodes. Okay.
Right.
Mini films, basically.
There's 5 episodes, so we can rank them. This is your number one. Is that what you're saying?
Joan is Awful is like one of my favourites from the whole season. I thought it was funny, it was satirical, it had the tech elements, which I think for fans of Black Mirror, you can easily relate to this episode. I love the cameos. I would see Salma Hayek could be in the cameo. I would rate it 4 out of 5.
Interesting. Yeah. This is my 3rd favourite episode. So I guess I'm giving it 3.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I think I will say one little note is that since Johnny's Awful was being released, there's been a 250% increase in people searching for Netflix terms and conditions.
Sorry, I might have to change mine. I think it might be a 2 out of 5.
For what? Why?
We'll come to it. But there were 3 other episodes that I
Oh my gosh.
enjoyed. Actually, I don't know. Nah. Actually, no, I think 2.5 to both of those. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean,
so for me, I have a number 1, number 2, and then two episodes are 3.
Yeah.
And then 1 episode. There's only one episode that I was like, I did not like.
Yeah, it was 1 episode I didn't like. And I think we both agree on the same one. Yeah.
Shall we move?
Yes, it was Loch Henry.
Loch Henry.
One thing I like about Loch Henry is that there's a little link back to Johnny's Awful based on Streamberry.
Yeah, Streamberry is. Yeah. I wondered if we were going to get Streamberry in every episode, but it stops here.
It does stop there.
Which is a bit weird. Yeah. So Loch Henry is a episode about a couple who go to the male partner's hometown.
Yeah, it stars
the girlie from
Agents Industry. Yeah. One thing I was gonna say, and I'm gonna go back. Sorry, we're gonna just jump back to Johnny's Awful. I did love the casting. I love the casting of Black Girlies.
Annie Murphy.
Annie Murphy was a great casting. So we had debated when we were talking about the BAFTAs months ago. I'm going to keep this going. Months ago about Ayo from The Bear and how you felt that she wouldn't be able to play a comedy role. And she was.
I never said that. I said she's literally a comedian. Why would I say she couldn't play a comedy role?
Sorry, you couldn't play that. She couldn't play a dramatic role.
I said she can't play anyone other than herself.
I don't think she was playing herself in Johnny's Awful.
I think she was herself.
I don't think so.
Okay,
cool. Now moving on to I think she was playing a different character, but either way,
for literally 2 seconds.
But either way, she was doing variety.
It was different from her bear character, but I don't think it's different from her.
Yeah, but
let's go.
I love the casting. I love the casting of the lead. I think Mahai. Well, let me find her name properly.
Are we talking about Loch Henry?
Loch Henry, yeah. Her name is.
I mean, the guy I've never seen a day in my life.
No, and neither have I. No, he was...
It's fun to be that we're in a show where we get to see people we've never seen a day in our life. Be in a massive show. I love that.
His name was Samuel Blenkin. And then Mahala Herald played Pia. Mahala Herald feels British because she's in so many British-led shows. But she's actually American.
Yeah, she's just done that really smart thing of being like, I'm going to be the American. She's done the, what's her name? The mom from Sex Ed.
Gillian Anderson.
She's doing the Gillian Anderson, which has been the one American in the UK and therefore getting all the work because there's nobody else here.
Yeah.
So the episode, follows Mahalia, who plays Pia, and her partner, whose name is... His real name was Samuel. His character's name is
Davis.
And they go to his town in Scotland to meet his family. They're both film students. And when they get there, they decide they're going to tell the story of a murderer who killed a American couple who were on holiday. And perhaps they'll make a documentary of it. Davis has a friend who is played by... I don't know what his name
is. Daniel Portman in real life. And
he was in Game of Thrones.
Was he?
And he played Podge, I think was his name.
Let me just double check. Yeah, Podrick.
Yeah. Podrick in Game of Thrones. He is... I hate to be problematic, but he's fucking sexy. I thought he was hot. He looks really good
in Game of Thrones.
No, in Loch Henry.
Are we watching the same show?
I think he looked good. If you've watched Game of Thrones, the girl was real. I think he looked good.
Wait, for real?
He looks good.
Okay.
He looks good.
Sorry,
do you think Davis is hot?
No.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
We love skinny whites. Skinny whites. Keep this in. You like skinny whites. Shoshana.
You're running your mouth and you know For real.
I want you to keep a supercut of all of these so I can hear them back at the end.
You can, but they're all on the cutting room floor for real.
So he has a friend, Davis, who, you know, also used to make little films with him. He didn't make it out of the village. And they talk about the day that Davis's dad died, where he was shot by the local serial killer who, like I said, killed this American couple. And they are like, we've got to go back to the house and potentially we'll make a documentary about this murder that never got solved. Yeah. So they go back to this house and they do some investigation, they film some stuff, it's spooky, you know, whatever. It's like it was a bog standard crime thriller, true crime story. Before this though, they have spoken to like a legitimate production company in London, where they've pitched this podcast that they want to make, which is an investigation of these crimes. And the producer is very much a caricature of a producer, where they're just like, yeah, I'm not sure about the way in. And when he says, well, my dad got shot by the serial killer, they're like, perfect, amazing. Because they're thinking, but how am I going to sell this to the broadcaster? Yeah. Well, he is
it's based on a true story.
Yes, exactly that.
That's it.
So they end up on the way home being chased by Podrick's dad, who they accidentally hit with the car. Yeah. They get into a car crash. Podrick is in hospital, Pierre is in hospital, Davis is in hospital, and Podrick's dad is in hospital. Davis is in a cast. He can't leave the hospital. Pierre goes home with Davis's mum. Yeah. And prior to this, they were like, we're going to film everything on old school tape because that is edgy and cool. Yeah. Your mum's got all these tapes of Bergerac. We'll just use one of these because she just tapes old copies of Bergerac. Yeah. So she gets home and she's like, let me upload the video that we took earlier in the day.
The tape, yeah.
And as she starts to watch this videotape, it cuts from Bergerac to a video of the American couple on a dirty sofa, stripped, practically naked, with their killers sort of taking turns, goading them and talking about what they're going to do to them. And what we learn is, for the longest time, the story has been that there was one serial killer, but then we realise that there is in fact another man and woman who turn out to be Davis's mum and dad.
Yeah, and that's when we realise that she was the mother of all crimes.
So at this point, Pierre's at home with Davis's mum on her own.
Yeah.
And she has worked it out. I think she runs out of the house.
She's at one point, I think the mum was like, do you want
she's making shepherd's pie.
Yeah, she wants a shepherd's pie. And then Pierre's like, yeah. And then she really starts to get her escape route. And she runs out. And
bear in mind, they're in the middle of nowhere.
Absolutely, in the dark as well.
She's just run out.
As she's running, she trips, falls into the...
I thought it was the...
Continue.
Yeah. So Davis's mum goes out looking for Pierre because she goes up to find Pierre and Pierre's left the video in, playing the tape. Yeah. She's been exposed. Yeah. So she gets in her car looking for Pierre. She's yelling like, Pierre, let me explain. You don't understand. It's not what it looks like. Pierre is running away from her. She chases Pierre, and I feel like Pierre then slips into the river, but she's not dead.
No, she's not.
She slipped. She gets up, and then she's hit in the head with a stone. And that is, in fact, Davis's mum, who then is like, oh, fuck, what have I done? We get like a 2-minute scene of her just going, fuck, shit, cunt, fuck, shit, just over and over and over, while she's trying to figure out what the fuck she's done. So she goes back to the house, writes an apology note that's like, soz son, or whatever it is. It's really brief.
Yeah.
And piles all the videos, all those Bergerac videos, up. Yeah. You then cut to, there's a big jump in time, and they are at the BAFTAs. Yeah. And Davis wins an award. Davis and the production company win an award for True Crime Podcast of the Year, whatever. Yeah. Davis is deeply unhappy. No. I think you can tell, like, he's got what it is he wanted, which is, like, critical acclaim, but it was at the expense of his girlfriend, his mum.
He went to... Did he accept the award, or was this...
he was going to accept the award.
But it was just not...
And Podrick calls him and be like, we all watched the award show.
Congratulations,
Pub Scream, we're really proud of you. And it's just like quite clear that the message of that is like, was it worth the price you had to pay for it? And I like this episode because I am a true crime podcast connoisseur, and I'm rarely spooked by the stuff that I listen to, because I'm quite good at being like, this is entertainment and keeping it at arm's length. But this episode and the episode after this, which we'll talk about, there was a couple of moments that are like very reminiscent of real life crimes, and they just made, I would have weirdly had a very visceral reaction where I was like, I just stopped listening to these podcasts.
Really?
I was just like, I don't like this. Like, like as soon as they came on the screen in the like old-timey, not old-timey, I say really, video camcorder footage, stuff, and they're wearing the mask, I was like, oh, I don't like, and you could see the American couple like being like, please, and I didn't like it.
It was
scary.
Yeah, there was a couple of really scary jump scare moments in this season, but this episode and the episode we're going to talk about next has some real jump scares. Like, oh gosh, I didn't see that coming.
I don't like
that.
But I like the episode.
I liked the episode. I think it was like where Joan is awful gave like humor and satirical moments. This gave us, it felt really dark, and I think it was not needed. I think it was good that we had Joan as a kind of a light like palette cleanser, and then you had like Loch Henry, which is a massive departure from what we've seen in previous Black Mirror episodes. I mean, of course, I haven't watched every single episode from every single season, but it is a departure from. It's a departure.
There are episodes of Black Mirror that have caught me off guard in the past. And I remember I was watching this, I was like making food.
Oh, it stopped you?
When I first started, And as it went on, I was like, wait, hold on a sec. Going back and rewatching parts, and I was like, oh, this is actually quite scary. I don't know what it was. It just made me so, I was really unnerving. Maybe it was just like people watching videos. I don't know what it is. Like, I was trying to think afterwards, like, what is so creepy about this? But I genuinely was just like, I didn't watch another episode after that.
That's so interesting.
I took the rest of the evening, I think. And I watched the next episode the next day.
I had that moment with the next episode we're going to talk about, but I found it accessible because one, part of like the retro videotape type of thing felt like it was relatable in that aspect. I mean, the story wasn't at all, but it felt kind of relatable because it felt like less techie.
Yeah.
But the storyline, of course, was very dark. But I didn't ever get the whole like, oh, I need to stop right now. I feel like it's impacting me, because I think you also had that weird moment when you saw the trailer of Loch Henry, the Streamberry trailer of Loch Henry right at the end. And you were like, oh, everything is full circle, which is just very synonymous of Black Mirror. So I don't know. For me, I really liked this episode. I liked the themes. I liked the tone. I liked that you got the gotcha moment, but you also got the conclusion as well, which is what I like about anthologies, because there's usually a beginning, middle, and end. You're like, I'm not waiting for a cliffhanger. The episode is long enough, and I get a full, complete story. And this being in the true crime essence is also can be engaging and really enjoyable. And it's only one episode versus me having to watch a true crime doc for 5 episodes to find out what actually happened.
Yeah.
So
this is my...
Yeah, what is this? What in terms of your
favourites? This is the episode that I think, to me, ranks the same as Joan is Awful.
Really?
Yeah, for me.
Because you gave Joan is Awful 2.5.
Yeah, because I would give this... So I couldn't make my mind over which one was 3 and which one was 2, so I'm giving them both 2.5.
Okay, so make it even.
Like, in my heart of hearts, this was 3.
Whoa. I am actually...
But I really did like Joan is Awful, so I wonder if... Really, I can give you confident numbers on second viewing, because I've only watched this once.
Yeah.
And Black Mirror, like I said, it's like I've watched it 3, 4, 5 times, so like I need some time with the episodes to really be like, oh, this was a good piece of TV. Because sometimes you watch something and it's like, it hits you in a visceral way, but actually you go back to watch it and you're like, this is actually not a good piece of storytelling. And sometimes you watch something and you're like, oh, the storytelling was immaculate.
Yeah. For me, I don't know if I mentioned this in the podcast very often, but I don't really rewatch shows. Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase that. I can rewatch very casual viewing, like Friends or How I Met Your Mother or things like that. I can rewatch those easily. But if it's a good piece of drama, I don't need to rewatch you, because
it's like I've really relived those moments the first time, and I don't want to have to re-watch you again because I've got what I needed from you. And
I think rewatching is about really seeing if something holds up. Like sometimes there are things I've watched where I was just like, this was incredible, and I go back to rewatch it, I was like, it was literally just the experience of watching this the first time that was like not knowing what was going to come. That was interesting. The actual thing in and of itself isn't that good.
Yeah.
And there are lots of things that I've seen. I think it comes from I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I literally had like 5 DVDs and I would just watch those.
Yeah, but that's because we had no money, so we only had like...
No, but that's... I've sort of... I found it really weird when there was a period of my life, like... It's only recently... When I say recently, in the past, like, 2 or 3 years, I've started rewatching Star.
Oh, really?
Where, like, I was like, it's really weird that I could tell you lines from Shrek. And there are TV shows that I love that I couldn't tell you what the episode or... Like, I don't know anything about because I've only ever watched it once.
That's so interesting.
And so I was like, oh, I'm going to try and watch this again. And it feels like a task. Obviously, it's not like Shrek where you sit down for an hour and a half and you're like, I'm back in it. But I've watched Shrek or Mean Girls or Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire like more times than I would care to mention.
Yeah.
And I know their stories inside out. And it was like, oh, I think this is such a great piece of storytelling, but I've only watched it once. That feels weird. Like, I love Mad Men. I've only seen it the whole way through once.
Yeah,
I've gone back and watched my favourite episodes, but like to say the whole thing the whole way through, and it's definitely due a rewatch, I would say, because I would need to know if it was actually good or if I was just tantalised by it the first time round.
I mean, I was gonna say tell a lie. I had to backtrack myself. Every now and again, I would go back and watch a couple of episodes of Scandal that I remember I really loved, because Scandal growing up, and when I say growing up, like my early 20s. It was one of my favourite shows because I loved... And it's one of the few shows that had a really strong black female lead and I really gravitated to.
I've seen Gossip Girl 100 times, I feel
I loved Gossip Girl.
I haven't actually. I've probably seen it 5 times.
But it didn't have that appeal to me as much. But Friends is the only show where, like, if I go home and it's on TV and it's just any random episode, I know the episodes... I can probably memorise the lines. It's real comfort TV. I've rewatched it.
Simpsons.
Really?
Yeah, I used to be like a big Simpsons head. But I don't know. Friends, no, that was just never. It's never been my show. But like, I've watched The Office at least 4 times now.
Yeah, I've watched rewatch Office, and that stood the test of time. To the point
I've
where
watched it 4 times. Like, every single time, it's been like this is fucking brilliant.
When TikTok brings it back every now and then, like a meme that comes through from like Scott. Was it Scott, wasn't it? Steve Carell.
Michael Scott.
Yeah, Michael Scott.
Scott.
Michael Scott. It just reminds me how funny things are. Like I think of the fire alarm episodes.
Yeah.
Just
say bandits.
It's just silly things that are just it's just nice comfort TV, but dramas, heart-eating ones. Oh, that's hard for me to rewatch.
Did I Stutter?
Yeah,
great episode.
Yeah. Don't remember that one.
Where BJ Novak's character sees a picture of Stanley's daughter, but he doesn't know it's her daughter, and he thinks that he's just printed a picture of a hot girl in a Catholic uniform. He's like, oh yeah, she's really hot, very sexy, and then he's like, that's my daughter, and then BJ Novak's like, and then he just completely lays into him. He's like, don't you ever speak to my daughter again. Like, it's brilliant. Oh, but actually the Did I Start a moment is from where they're in one of their like group meetings and Stanley's doing a crossword and Michael's like, hey man, can you pay attention? He's like, I don't want to do that. Michael's like, I really need you to pay attention. He's like, I told you I don't want to do that. He's like, Michael's like, come on. He's like, did I stutter? And it's like dead silence in the room. And Michael's just like, and then everyone's like, oh, you should let him talk to you like that, you know? Are you going to take that, Michael? That's fucked up, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Stanley was great.
Yeah,
and every single time I rewatch it, there's someone else that like suddenly comes into the forefront. I'm like, they're actually a brilliant actor, and they delivered a great character. Like, I feel like the last time I watched it, I was like, Joey's great. Angela.
She was cool, but
Angela's very funny.
To me, it was just the ensemble worked so well. Dynamics, it was just the pace. It was always on pace.
I was like, Jim and Pam forever.
Jim and Pam always forever.
And the second time I watched it, I said, Jim and Pam suck.
No,
you do have to watch it twice to get to a point where you're like,
no.
Jim and Pam are actually the most obnoxious people in this office.
They were, but Jim and Pam were like,
because you really thought the world revolved around you and your love.
Yes.
No one gives a fuck about you.
I loved their love. I bought into their love. I loved their love.
Yeah, it kept
me going for like the first 4 seasons.
It's very dangerous to put this out into the world, making it seem like you're gonna find love of your life at work. You're not.
I mean,
hey sis, if you're listening to this and you're like, but you don't understand, it's so wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
wrong.
Perfectly honest, don't do it. Don't do it.
Honestly, don't do it. It's not for you.
Don't do it.
That message isn't for you.
No. But, like, definitely don't do it.
Next thing you know, you get called into HR because they've heard that you're fucking your boss.
No one ever talked about HR on the office. There was
Toby, but he sucked. Yeah, and he also had a crush on Pam.
Yeah, so come on. But anyway, back to Loch Henry.
Yeah, Loch Henry. So I'm gonna say 2.5 because it's on equal footing for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it. Yeah, as Jenny's awful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it, for me, 3 out of 5.
Ooh,
I really enjoyed it. I think I have like 2 main scores for different episodes, apart from one. Apart from one episode where they will be scored significantly lower. But I really, really enjoyed Loch Henry as an episode. I don't think it's a rewatch moment for me, but again, I'm just not a rewatch big. I'm not a big rewatcher anyway, but
I feel like the problem with that episode is that the twist is such a twist. Like, I think if you went back to watch it,
I know what's happening.
You might genuinely be like, oh, this is not good.
And that's what I feel like most like Black Mirror episodes. And when you said you rewatched it, you rewatched some of the previous episodes.
Because
I'm surprised.
They don't have the entire history of you doesn't have a twist.
That's okay.
You know, it is. Everything that you find out, you already know from the beginning. Yeah. It's about the way that story unravels in terms of what happens when you are suspicious of your wife cheating on you. Yeah. Right? And you have the ability to look at her memories. Yeah. That's all. There's no like twist where it's like, the check is haunted. No. It is, he's like, play back your memories. I need to know. He gets the answer that he needs to know.
That's very interesting.
You know? Yeah. So actually, like, it's quite straight. Yeah. But an episode like White Bear, I mean, I've watched White Bear quite a few times, and the twist still works.
What happens in White Bear?
Anna Critchlow plays a woman who wakes up in the morning and is being hunted by these masked people. This woman randomly helps her, and she forms a band with this woman, but the masked people keep catching her, and she's looking for her daughter. She's like, I had a daughter, they've taken her, I need to find my daughter. One of the masked people basically explains to her, basically what you find out is she has, in real life, her and her partner kidnapped a girl and killed her. Okay. Her form of rehabilitation is White Bear, where she has been drugged, so she doesn't remember things properly, and she thinks that the girl that she kidnapped is her daughter, and someone else has kidnapped her, and she has to go through the day of the agony and the where is my daughter and the fear and all of that stuff, just to find out that she killed her daughter. And she does that every single day, and the people that are there hunting her are like people who've come to watch the experience, which is this thing. So there are people on phones watching her. She's like, why don't you help me? Like, these people are hunting me, I need help. But they're actually just tourists almost coming to watch the spectacle, which is White Bear, which is watching this woman relive the same day over and over and over. So it's supposed to be a form of rehabilitation. Like, you don't want to send a person like that to prison because they're beyond help. So instead what we get is this like repetitive punishment where you can come and like enjoy their pain.
So, Charlie Brooker's Mind.
It's a really great episode. Yeah. It's a really great, and Anna Critchlow's brilliant in it. And I always think about her because I'm like, why was she acting?
What was the last thing she was in? I thought
she was in Being Human. She's mixed race.
Yeah, it's not been a long time.
Recalled all of this. Her name is Lenora Critchlow. Her sister's name is Anna Critchlow. She was in our school.
That's why I had the name something for me. I was like, Anna Critchlow in our year.
No, she was Nublo.
Interesting.
She went out with a man who I thought was gay.
I mean,
keep this in.
The story is a story of
He's now a priest, so do what you will with that information. Do what you will with that
Anyway, I know who you're talking about. But yeah, so should we move on?
Yeah. You are listening to BBC Sounds.
Oh my gosh.
English.
All right. So, because Black Mirror is such an amazing season and so many different episodes.
It's so nice we had to view it twice. Well, we had to split it into two.
Yeah, we have
Nothing
to.
wrong with nice.
Yeah. It's always nice to be nice.
It's so full we had to split it into two.
Okay, well, we're going to just move on from that. This is going to be a part 1.
It's so big we had to split it like a twig.
Wow. Wow. Don't tell us too much.
Listen, twigs get split.
Oh God. Okay, we're gonna move on very swiftly. But yeah, because Black Mirror was so chunky, we're gonna have a bit of a hunky.
No, that don't work. See, it's hard, isn't it? It's not easy.
So hard. We're gonna do a part 2 next week, where we're gonna go through the rest of the season.
Because it's so new, we had to split it into two.
2, yeah.
Oh,
great. So next episode that we're going to review is Beyond the Sea. So make sure you tune in next week to listen to the rest of the season and our thoughts on our favourite Black Mirror episodes. This has been Scripts and Giggles with Shoshana.
And Beyond the Money. This doesn't work because we haven't got to that episode yet, but you'll see.
You'll see. Or this has been Scripts and Giggles with Shoshana and Loch Henry.
Oh.
All right. This has been Scripts and Giggles with Shoshana.
And it's Loch Henry. That wasn't even a Scottish accent.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Please don't shoot me, Scotland. I'll be there in August, please.